What's that? Frat parties? At San Diego State? Yeah, I'm the DJ. I got shot at one of those frat parties, motherfucker. Remember that one? Remember that one? I got jumped at one too. You was there when I got jumped? Oh. Why'd you stop playing the music, bitch? I remember you now. So here's the story. So I'll just share it. So I used to play flag football when I lived out here, right? The Piranhas, yeah, P House, yeah. So, San Diego takes flag football a little serious, by the way. We have way too many practices for nobody getting paid. It's like, what the fucking 4 days a week, bitch? Yeah, that's when we won the title. Yeah, I caught the game-winning touchdown, bitch. We had like an all-black team. I go, let me run across the middle. They ain't gonna be looking for me to catch nothing. That's like what I said too. I hadn't caught a pass all year. I was like, let me throw it to me. I'll catch it. I mean, the other team was black. They just stood there like, what the fuck this white motherfucker come from? So here's what happened with the fight he's talking about. It's a true story. It was there was a boxing match on that night, right? And then I think I went with you. We got there early, and we was watching the fight in this one of the guys' rooms. It was a big frat party in San Diego State. So I had this leather coat, and I left the coat in this room, and then now the party starts, and now so we're partying, but I was ready to leave. I had some bitches I wanted to finger in PB. I'm ready to get the fuck out of here, right? San Diego State hoes, they don't know Gary. We got nothing in common with these college girls. I need to find some fucking Navy chicks. They're easy. You just got off the kitty hawk. Ooh, your pussy needs a little playing with. Did you cross the equator? Did you cross the equator? So anyways, party's jumping. And now I'm ready to go. So I'm like, I try to go get my jacket, but they got like a freshman dude guarding the hallway where all the bedrooms was, as they should. So I looked at him, we're having a cool conversation. Hey man, I gotta get my jacket. He goes, I don't know you, dude. I'm not supposed to lay my back. I said, it's cool, you can go get it, bro. I just need my jacket, it's a leather jacket. And I think that motherfucker cost me like $300, which was like $3 million at that time in my life. So I'm getting that fucking jacket, bro. So as we're talking though, like 4 seniors are walking out, right? And they just start yelling. They go, motherfucking plebe, we told you nobody get back here. Now the fucking kid starts yelling at me. He goes, motherfucker, I told you ain't nobody getting back here. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And his hand is like right here, damn near hitting my face. So I thought he was gonna hit me or touch me. So I just grabbed him. I didn't punch him, I just grabbed him. As soon as I motherfucking grabbed this guy, it was fist of fury on me. It was boom. So I had the kid in front of me. I'm against the wall. They can't get to me because I still got this motherfucker. I said they're beating the fuck out of their friend. So then cooler heads prevailed and a couple guys was like, ah, and it got broken up. So now I got 4 guys dragging me out. I'm still going, motherfucker, I just want my jacket. But on the way out, I was on the way out, and one guy, I don't know where he came from. He came from way back here. He had a beer can, boom, and hit the back of my head. I said, you motherfucker. So now I'm in the front yard of this frat house. He's still DJing. He don't know any of this is going on. That's what he said. I was wondering why the motherfucker's like, we don't give a fuck. If you don't give a damn, we don't give a fuck what? I was like, try to calm it down a little bit with the music. So I'm in the front yard now, and I got a couple guys from the frat house are telling me, we're going to call the cops. We're going to call the cops. I said, for what? I said, motherfucker, I ain't been drinking. I'm ready to leave. And then I go, I know you got some underage motherfuckers in here drinking. I said, I dare you to call the cops. Okay, well, motherfucker, you got to leave. I said, I just want my jacket. I will gladly leave. Give me my fucking jacket. So the frat's all white, right? All of a sudden, like 3-4 black guys that was on my flag football team, they show up. And they're like, gee, what you doing here? I said, I can't get my jacket. I said, this fucking, and I'm white, but I said, these white motherfuckers jumped me. If you got some black dudes, just act like you ain't white, even if the guys are white. These white motherfuckers jumped me, man. It's like, what? So now the 4 black dudes surround me. I'm in the middle, and they come walking me in the frat. And like, all the white guys just spreading out. And then, and now they get in the middle of the dance floor, and you was there, there's like, who fucking hit my boy? Who hit my boy? And the one dude, the motherfucker was barely on the team. Like, he was like, just tell me to knock somebody out, Gary. I've been waiting to knock a motherfucker out. I was like, who are you? Motherfucker, you just signed on the team. So we look around, the frat is empty now. Everybody ran to their rooms. All the white boys locked themselves in the rooms, and they're yelling, we didn't know, bro! We didn't know! I said, just give me my fucking jacket! Finally, the guy just stuck his arm out with my jacket. I kept saying, that's all I wanted! And now I'm in Pacific Beach, I go, yeah, these white motherfuckers jumped me tonight. Yeah, they ain't know though. They ain't know. Because I remember you stopped the music. The brothers came in, they jumped Gary. He stopped it, he goes, who the fuck jumped my boy? But he's Filipino. He went, who the fuck by my boy? Who the fuck? Piss party is over. Did you say this party's over? Piss party's over. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You got me fucked up. That was fucking funny. It's funny now. But I ain't gonna lie, a little pee came out that night though. When you get motherfuckers, I don't know how motherfuckers be like getting jumped and act like they had under control, because I didn't know where these fists was coming from. I felt bad for that kid. You should have seen him. Jacket! Jacket! All this was over my fucking jacket. That was a wild night. All done. All done. I think we all learned something tonight. If nothing else. All right, fuck. That's funny. I've told that story. A lot of people think I'm lying. No. That was your room? So why'd your dudes jump me then? Because you know I'm cool. Like, motherfucker, I didn't start fights. I think about all this shit. I remember we was at one house and somebody started shooting a gun. And I jumped. Who was the Asian dude with the long hair from San Francisco? Cisco, yeah. We was at his house. Always a fucking Cisco or Rodney. If you know a Cisco or Rodney, don't hang out after midnight. Cause you DJed that one? Okay, you're done DJing, right? Like, please don't invite me to a gig tonight. I'm like, I'm gonna pass. No. We was at this guy Cisco's house, and it was like everybody's in the front yard. All of a sudden we heard pop, 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 pop. And when you ain't ever heard a gun, I thought somebody just setting fireworks. I go, it's May. July 4th, motherfucker? Everybody's like, motherfucker, they shooting. I jumped through a window. Woo! I was in a bathtub, and I remember this girl walked in the bathroom, and I pulled her on me. I said, they're shooting. I did. But I damn sure grabbed her. I was like, damn, you're kind of fine. I gotta go. I said, you can't get up here. They shooting. I'm protecting you. Here, in fact, let me, you get on the bottom. I'll get on the bottom. That was the... Why would you play that? I know, but there were so many other better hits that people didn't get shot to. Return of the Mac Daddies. Could have played that. Nobody ever got shot to that. Could have played some John B. Never got shot to that. No, baby, no, baby. No. Dun, 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 dun. Nobody ever got shot. The guy would have had the gun out and be like, oh, this is my jam. I'm glad to see you're still alive, you know, like, you've had a dangerous life of DJing. Shit. I'm fucking getting jumped. I was there too. Every time I DJ, the motherfucker got shot or beat up. Been to 2 fucking parties. Well, that was an unexpected turn. I didn't know the show was gonna go that way. Thank you. Just want to go back to my room and lock the door tonight. We're not hanging out. You know that, right? We're not. Don't think, oh, let's go here. We're not. I don't want to be like, oh my God, somebody's shooting again.
What's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen. Get some.
Mix is hard to raise, man. I don't know what it's like to be a black dude raising mixed kids, but a white dude, shit's hard, man. You know, because for one, I didn't know how strong the black gene is. I didn't know. I didn't know when you have a kid between a black and a white person, 9% of the time the kid's gonna look more black than he is white. I didn't know that. So I was in the living room, you know? Some bitch popped out, I was like, what? Really? Really? You know, I'm a dad, man. I got my son, you know. Any dad, you want your son to look like you a little bit, just a little, you know. My son looks nothing like me, nothing, man. My son looks stolen, you know. You see me walking down the street with my son, you don't know it's my son. You think I'm in the Big Brother, Big Sister program or something, man. I got people hollering out, appreciate it. What are you talking about? Mine. My son goes through stages too, like sometimes he wants to be white, sometimes he wants to be black, you know. Right now he's at a black stage. He won't be white, just wants to be black, you know. It doesn't work, you know. You can't be like some angry black dude and I'm your dad. Gotta come home to me every day. Shit don't work, you know. I remember he was watching Farrakhan on TV one day. He's like, Dad, we need to talk. I was like, what? He's like, you know, we were the first people. I said, no, I don't think I'm in that. Probably have this discussion with your mom, but not me. So yeah, I don't think he was talking to me. Like I think we were second. We were second. You were first. We were second. So yeah, so we was that silver medal still good. So. Can't be some angry black dude and I'm your dad, you know. Don't work. Like I remember earlier this year I was gone for like 6 straight weeks, right? So I called home, you know, see how my son's doing. My son got attitude with me on the phone, man. You know, I called home. I was like, "What's up, man?" He goes, "What's up, Dad?" I was like, "What are you doing?" "Nothing." "Dad, why ain't you home?" I was like, "I'll be home in a couple weeks. I'm just telling some jokes." He's like, "I don't think that's the reason." I was like, "What? Why don't you think I'm home?" "I don't think you're home because it's Black History Month." "I'm saying, Dad, you know I got a whole month. You scared? You scared to be around us this month? You know I got a whole family, Dad. You scared to be around us this month?" Like, what are you talking about? He goes, "Dad, this is what I'm saying. This is my month, okay? This is my month. So ain't nothing you say this month because I'm a black kid and this is a black month." I said, "You're mixed. You only celebrate half the month, motherfucker. You don't get the whole month." Valentine's Day, your shit is over.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen with the Get Some podcast. You can listen to this on YouTube. Go to my YouTube page. It's youtube.com/GaryOwenCom. Or go to iTunes and just search Gary Owen, #GetSome, or search United We Cast. I don't know if I could pronunciate that stuff any more than I just did, but I've been working on my pronunciation. So I want to address the Super Bowl. Unless you were living under a rock, the Philadelphia Eagles beat the New England Patriots. And I said I was rooting for the Eagles. I will never bet against Tom Brady. But I said that, like, the Eagles were just so resilient all year. They lose their quarterback. They lose their left tackle, Peters. They lose Wentz. And they just kept plugging away, and that goes to coaching, man. And what's frustrating to me about the Super Bowl is the Eagles, they had a decent coach, Chip Kelly, got rid of him. They bring in Peterson, and it's amazing what a coach can do to motivate a team, to just have a scheme that it doesn't matter. Because once you get to NFL, everybody's a good athlete. Everybody was probably 90% of the league went to big-time college football programs. You got those guys that come out of nowhere, but 90% of the league, they've been the best player on the team every team they've been to. You got all the best players from every high school and every college in the NFL. And it just goes to show what a coach can do when a team buys in and they get the right scheme and they play aggressive. Because that's the thing that won the Eagles game in the Super Bowl over the Patriots was they stayed aggressive. They didn't sit back like the Jaguars did. The Jaguars took a knee at the end of the half, and they had some time to get some plays off. And the Falcons last year kind of took their foot off the gas. And Peterson, the Eagles, like, nah, I don't care if there's 10 seconds left. We going for it. To go for it on fourth down like that? And to come with that play? Come on, man. They didn't run that play all year. That wasn't in the game plan. And you can tell Nick Foles hooped a little bit. He had a little wiggle to him when he caught that ball. That wasn't no awkward catch. And I never thought I'd say this, but the Patriots got out-coached as far as the Eagles' offense compared to the Patriots' defense, because the Eagles' defense couldn't stop Brady. They came with a play when they needed a big play. But if you still look at the end of the game, Brady kind of just ran out of time because he got him 30 yards, 40 yards pretty freaking fast at the end of that game and had him in a position where he threw that ball and it made it to the end zone. And they started on the 10-yard line, and they was damn near midfield at the end of the game. But just, man, remember like in the late 80s and early 90s when all the Super Bowls were terrible? They were all bad. They were all blowouts, and the NFC was dominant for a long time. Between the Cowboys and Niners and that era and the Giants, they were just blowing the AFC out. And every year the Super Bowl was just a disappointment. Then the Redskins blew out the Bills. The Redskins blew out the Broncos. It was just bad Super Bowls. And then all of a sudden it started to turn, man. And the last few years, I mean, great Super Bowls. Went into overtime last year. This year was a great Super Bowl. The Ravens and 49ers was a good Super Bowl. The Seahawks blew out the Broncos. That's pretty much been the only blowout in the last 10 years, from what I can remember. They've all been really good games. And that's what you want in the Super Bowl. You want the season to end like that. Win or lose, man. Brady's he's the greatest of all time. Because that wasn't his fault last night. They're going to be like, Brady's 5-3 now. And I took a dig on Brady. I was like, yeah, Brady's lost 3 Super Bowls. My Bengals have only lost 2. So, boom, greatest my ass. I always find a silver lining. Let me tell you something. When the Super Bowl ends and whoever wins the Super Bowl, I always try to find a silver lining and be like, maybe that could be the Bengals next year. And my silver lining this year is the Eagles were 7-9 last year. What was the Bengals record this year? 7-9. Ooh. Uh-oh. That's pretty much all I got. As far as to see Jake Elliott be kicking them field goals and knowing the Bengals cut him at the beginning of the year, because Jake Elliott, the Eagles kicker, was the Bengals' 5th-round pick. That hurt my soul. Broke the rookie record for longest field goal in a Super Bowl. and we cut them. And to see like Rex Burkhead balled out a little bit and Marquise Flowers, those are both ex-Bengals playing for the Patriots. I'm like, dude, man, come on. But great Super Bowl. And what was even better was afterwards was Kevin Hart getting denied getting on stage at the Super Bowl. He was so drunk. He tried to get on the stage presenting the trophy. And I was like, that security guard said, no, Kev. And I'm so glad he did because everybody knows I got a great friendship with Kevin. But when he's wrong, he's wrong. He was wrong in this part because, look, that is the Philadelphia Eagles' time to shine. Let them boys get on that stage, enjoy it with each other. That was their journey. They did it together. You don't want some outsider coming in messing with that moment. You got the after party. Stop by the after party. Say what's up to the guys. Get a float. Get your own float, Kevin, and get on that parade route. Because I said, can you imagine if the whole football team would just walk on the stage and Kevin's about to do his last joke at a taping, like a comedy special taping? Kevin like, what the fuck? Yeah. I even said on my Instagram page, I said, Kev was wrong on this one. And I will say this, though. I'm not going to put it past me. If the Bengals ever won a Super Bowl, I would probably be trying to get on that stage, too, because I would be that drunk. So I'm not, I disagree with Kevin, but I understand. I ain't going to lie about that. I completely understand. Because knowing all the comedians, Michael Blackson and Kevin Hart, and I saw Bradley Cooper in the owner's suite, and Mike Trout from the Angels, seeing like Philly guys. Will Smith wasn't there, but he had some funny Instagram videos. But just seeing those guys that I know from Philly that born and bred diehard Philly fans, to see their reaction, how happy they were, and the emotions, I'm like, I want that feeling, man. But it's the offseason now. We'll see who we pick in the draft. But I don't know, 7-9, baby. I'm gonna hang my hat on that. Eagles were 7-9. The Bengals were 7-9. It can happen. But on a sad note, I get the news that Rasul Butler died in a car crash, him and his wife. His wife was an American Idol finalist years ago, and she was signed to Epic Records. And like, I wasn't great friends with Rasul, but I knew him. He was in Think Like a Man with us. He was one of the basketball players. It was Matt Barnes and Meta World Peace and Darren Collison, Lisa Leslie, and Shannon Brown was the NBA players that was in Think Like a Man. And that's right. That's where I got to know him a little bit on set. And then we would go out and do little hole in the wall spots around LA, do stand up. I would show up, Kevin would show up, and he would always show up. He really liked stand up, and he showed up at a lot of shows randomly. And but he was a Philly guy through and through. Went to LaSalle, played on numerous teams, the Heat, the Pacers, the Spurs, just to name a few. And what struck me is when the news hit that he died in a car crash, so many NBA players posted pictures of him. And they all said the same thing. They was just like, just a good dude, just straight up good dude. Good basketball player. Obviously, he was in the NBA for years. And he was that guy that was like, he found his niche and he stayed in the league for over 10 plus years, well over 10 years, because he was a role player. And when some guys accept that, that's guys that you see are in the league for years to come. It's those guys that want to be the number one scorer or doesn't want to play defense or doesn't want to do the dirty work. They're out of the league in a few years. But if you can find your role, and not everybody's going to be Michael Jordan, not everybody's going to be LeBron James, when you can find your role, those guys stay in the league for years to come because there's a spot for them on the squad. Not everybody's going to be the first option. But if like Rasul was a 3-point specialist and he was long and lean, so he could come in and he could D up everybody but the center. He was like a hired gun. Like he just come in and, he could shoot threes. So I just want to give my condolences to his friends, his family. And like I said, I wasn't best friends with him, but we was cool, man. Every time I ran into him, it was always cordial. He was always polite, always nice. Not just to me, but to everybody. And that sentiment was universal when I saw everybody posting their Instagram pics of Rasul today as the news came in that he passed away. So just sucks, man. Just it's never a good thing when somebody passes away, especially when they pass away in their 30s. And he was just in the big three over the summer. Like we just saw him in the big three tournaments, the Ice Cube League. So again, my condolences to all his friends and family. Just a good dude. Other news in the NBA, Blake Griffin got traded from LA to Detroit. I don't think anybody saw that coming. And here's the thing about the NBA now. I guess Blake found out through social media. I'm like, you can't even tell the guy you're going to trade him now. And the notion is Blake Griffin is Hollywood. He's LA. He bought into the lifestyle. And I do know he was doing stand up on the side, and he started an entertainment production company. Now, granted, you cannot do stand up on the side, but he got invited, and he performed at the Montreal Comedy Festival. I don't get invited to that. What's that say? It's all about talent when it comes to that. So I'm anxious to see what's going to happen with Detroit, and it's safe to say the Clippers are straight rebuild mode. And the trade deadline's coming up. You know, DeAndre Jordan does not want to stay in LA now. And the other big news in the NBA was DeMarcus Cousins tore his Achilles. He's out for the year, and that one sucks, man, because I like DeMarcus a lot. Like a lot of people say he's a little emotional on the court and off the court, but every time I run into him, and I've been out to Sacramento, he played for the Kings. He had his charity weekend. I like him a lot. And like I said, he always comes to see me if I'm close in the area. And I always say, if you come see me, I'm a fan of yours from jump. So when I was in Houston in December, not one Rocket came to a show. Fuck the Rockets. You guys were at home. You had home games. You didn't come see me. Hope you get your fucking ass kicked by Golden State. Not just kidding. But DeMarcus and Rondo also. Rajon Rondo always comes sees me if I'm close in the area. So I was like really rooting for the Pelicans from afar in the West. And then when he went down, especially the way he went down, like the game was already won. There was like 30 seconds left. And I think he's been putting a lot of minutes in, more than he should have, but they're pretty much a kind of a two-headed monster there in New Orleans with Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins. And it just sucks because he was having such a good year. And he's a free agent after this year. It's his contract year, but I don't think it'll affect. He's still going to get max dollars from somebody. He's too much of a talent not to. The guy can play every position. He damn near can play point. He's just a smooth player, man. And then I was watching the internet this week, and it was hysterical. There's been a problem lately where people are taking people's packages, FedEx packages, UPS packages, stealing them, and then taking off, because if you leave a package at the door, you don't have to sign for it. People scope your houses out, and then they take your packages. One, I don't know, I think it was on Facebook or somebody sent me an email link, but it was in Seattle, and this lady went to grab these boxes, FedEx boxes, and she slipped when she grabbed the boxes and broke her ankle. And the boxes go flying, and she's kind of stuck in the front yard of this house. And the guy had to get out of the getaway car, and he had a Seahawks jersey on, and he's got to help her up, and she was a heavy lady too. And then he helps her up, and they limp her to the to his car, but they had a camera system at this house. So they caught the lady and the guy. And what really pisses me off about these people stealing packages is this particular house, it was medicine. The people that lived there needed medicine that was sent to them. And that's what bothers me. So you're stealing these packages, and these people are counting on this medicine to get there, and some just to survive or to have a better quality of life. And I just think I have no remorse for those people that steal packages like that and then get caught and then try to cry in court. I mean, it's one thing to steal like a candy bar or to steal from a grocery store because your kids are hungry. It's another thing to you're scoping out houses and taking FedEx packages. I just can't stand it. And then it doesn't hit me why. And then when I hear why, I'm like, hold on. People got their medicine in these FedEx boxes, probably packed in dry ice. Some stuff you got to keep cool. You're just going to steal it. Oh, that pisses me off. Now, talk about stealing packages. My brother, now a lot of you know I had a brother, he passed away back in 2015 of a heroin overdose. I had another brother, my only two brothers. One's passed away, the other one, he got caught with a bunch of drugs back in November. And I just found out he's going to get sentenced February 6th. And they charged him with 3 felonies. They got a 2nd-degree felony, a 3rd-degree felony, and a 5th-degree felony. And in Ohio, I guess a 2nd-degree felony for drug possession like that is, it can be anywhere from 2 to 8 years. And then the 3rd-degree penalty can be 1 to 3 years. And then the 5th degree can be 6 to 12 months. So it looks like, I don't know if he has got a good lawyer or not, but it looks like my brother's he's definitely going to do some jail time. We just don't know how much. According to the streets, he is a big snitch. And if he's going to jail, he's going to do whatever he can to minimize his time. But the reason I brought that up and the segue is my brother used to do this. My brother that's going to go to prison, he'll get sentenced February 6th. We don't know yet. This used to be the racket they used to run, is they used to take FedEx packages and they put them, people would mail either the drugs or money, and they put them in these FedEx envelopes and wrap them up, and somehow they would be able to do it so the dogs couldn't detect the scent if it was weed in the FedEx boxes. And they would stake out these houses that nobody was living in, or they would stake out these houses that they knew people was at work. And that's where the FedExes would get delivered. And that was like the racket. Like they would send cash or weed through the mail like that and get tipped off. I think they knew somebody that worked at UPS or FedEx, and they tip them off and say, hey, the box is on its way. It's going to get delivered, between 10 and noon. They stake it out. And I guess my brother's MO was, he did this a few times. He grabbed a couple packages when it was his turn to pick up the packages with the cash, and then he'd split town and then say, oh, it never got delivered. So then he would go from Ohio down to Florida and just have all this cash that he had gotten. And then you got all these people, it's a trickle down effect. So you got people that wherever that FedEx box came from, now they didn't get the pot or whatever drugs it was or the money. So you got the people that they came to, and then you got it's a whole trickle down effect. The people that mailed it is wondering what's going on. The people that my brother's supposed to deliver the package to is wondering what's going on. So, and then everybody else has somebody hierarching. It's like, when does it stop? But I guess my brother's MO for a minute was taking these FedEx packages and splitting town and then saying it never came. And then he'd come back to town a year later, 2 years later, and, link up with some different drug dudes and start doing it again. And, I'm not going to say his name. We ain't got the same last name. So, but I remember when he got busted back in November, one of his buddies put the link up to the newspaper article that had stated he had gotten arrested with all these drugs on him. And the first couple messages on the Facebook page was typical stuff, praying for you, hope he gets better, hope this turns on the light, and then people start chiming in like, hey, ain't that the dude that ripped off Rick? Hold up, that's the dude that robbed my boy Bill. All these messages start coming in on Facebook of all these people that my brother had ripped off. And I was like, whoa. So the guy took down the post so goddamn fast. I was like, my brother is a thief. Like straight up just thief. One guy had a story about, I guess he was smart with this though, because he'd only rob from people that was in the drug business or game because he knew they couldn't go to the cops. So if he takes their money or their drugs out of their apartment or house when they're not home, they can't call the cops and say somebody stole my drugs, somebody took my money. So what are you going to do? They're just kind of like in limbo. So, and they would split town. But he did that numerous times. And I think what bothers me the most about this whole situation is My brother that passed away in 2015, my other brother that's getting sentenced next week, he got caught with methamphetamines and fentanyl so they got him like he's going to sell the fentanyl. And I was like, dude, you are selling the same shit that killed our brother. You're selling it. So you know what it does to people. Like, you shoot up fentanyl, you're going to die. It's almost like you're selling somebody a gun with bullets in it and just saying, put it to your head. And that's hard for me to come to grips with. I'm like, how are you selling the same shit you know killed our brother? And I just don't know how my stepdad and my mom rationalize that in their head. Like, my mom and my stepdad, they know my brother's a drug dealer. They know it. But they try to rationalize it or to act like he's not doing it. And I will never forget. It was the craziest thing I ever heard my mom say was, my brother dies. We come find out it was because of fentanyl that was in the heroin. And she goes, well, your little brother said it best. It's one thing to sell drugs. It's another thing to sell drugs you know was going to kill you. And I went, what? All drugs kill you. Eventually. It could be a slow kill, but they all kill you eventually. And now the brother that made that comment got busted selling fentanyl. So I'm thinking, my mom, I'm like, how does she rationalize that? Because that was how she rationalized it when my brother died. Was, yeah, your other brother might sell drugs, but he don't sell fentanyl. He ain't selling hard drugs that's going to kill you. That was her way of rationalizing it. And I had a conversation the other day with somebody, and they asked me, like, if you could have dinner with one person, dead or alive, all time, who would it be? And I was like, my mom. I would have dinner with my mom if she was going to be honest. I am curious as to what she would say to me as to why I'm ostracized from that side of the family, and why she forgives everybody else, but I'm the bad guy in the family. I would just be curious as to her answer to me. And so that'd be the one person I would have dinner with you. It wouldn't be Michael Jordan. It wouldn't be Jesus Christ. Wouldn't be Malcolm X. Wouldn't be Gandhi. It would be my mom. If I could have one person to sit down and have dinner with and have an honest conversation. Because I would just like to know where her mind's at, that she could just not have anything to do with her son. That's just mind-boggling to me, that you could just cut a kid off like that. Because now, this Christmas coming up, this is my mom and stepdad. This is who's coming over for Christmas. My sister. Because they got 3 boys. One's dead. One's going to be in prison. And one doesn't have anything to do with them. Me. So then you got my sister. That's going to be it. So you got nobody else coming over for Christmas. So I just wonder, like, how do you rationalize that in your head? I'm just so curious. I almost want to go and sit in the back of the courtroom when my brother gets sentenced, just to see. And then, because what's going to happen is, however long he gets, my stepdad will turn it and flip it and try to rationalize it like, well, he shouldn't have got that much time. There was another guy that sold the same amount of drugs. He didn't get that long, or it's the lawyer's fault, or it's the judge's fault, or it's the cop that arrested my brother's fault. But it ain't going to be my brother's fault. I'll tell you that shit right now. They are going to flip this and turn it and make it work out in their favor that it wasn't my brother's fault. It was somebody else's fault. I would just like to sit in the back of the courtroom. I probably won't. I ain't decided yet, honestly. I might show up and just sit in the back of the courtroom, because at least they can't do anything there. They're not going to make a scene in the courtroom, I would think. I'm just curious as to what's going to happen, because I'm not going to get an answer from them. I'm probably going to have to look it up on the internet and see how long he gets. And somebody else that knows my brother was like, well, maybe this will help him get his life back on track. I said, it's never been on track. I go, get back on what track? He's always been off track. My brother's in love with the quick money. He likes the quick money. So he's never going to really have that 9 to 5 or career where you got to just work. And he don't want that because I offered him a job one time at one of the comedy clubs, and he sent me back a message going, "Oh, they don't pay enough." And I went, "Oh, he's still in the game. There's no way you're going to just move to Ohio and you have no money, no job, and it's not like you have a degree, you have no education, and I'm offering you a pretty much a cush job, and you said no." He was like, "Nah, not enough money." That was his exact text. Not enough money. I was like, "Well, I tried. It is what it is." And I know it sounds crazy, and this has been kind of a downer episode, but the minute I let that side of my family go, my mom, my stepdad, and that side, I've never been happier. Never been happier. I posted a quote from Jim Carrey on my Instagram page, and it said, hold on, I don't want to misquote it, so I'm going to make sure I got it perfectly correct. It says, "The isolated family member is usually the one who becomes awake." The isolated family member is usually the one who becomes awake. And I was like, I felt like Jim Carrey said that to me in a text. I thought he felt like, "Gary, you're awake." So, by the time we come on next week, hopefully I'll know how long he got. Not that I'm wishing he gets a ton of time in prison, but I hope he gets enough that hopefully someone will get in his head and he'll be held accountable for what he's done. And once you can rationalize that with yourself and be like, "Yo, I haven't been a good person and I've really been messing up," you might be able to I don't know, get out and be productive and be honest and mend fences. You hope, but I don't think it's going to happen, because I think he's so far gone and so damaged. He's almost like I got a friend who's a horse trainer, and they said, when you have a damaged horse, you put it down because the other horses won't train. You put that damaged horse down. And not that I want anybody to kill anybody, but like my stepdad and my brother are damaged horses. The way they think is just backwards, freaking backwards, man. Anyways, my stepdad is still talking about me. My stepdad said, "Yeah, I got to be gay. I have to be gay because when I was younger, he caught me dancing to Purple Rain in my room." And I don't know if he meant the album, the movie, or the song. I don't know what he meant. But I do know I tried to rent Purple Rain when I was younger. And this is when you went to the video store and got a VHS tape. But I saved up my money and I got Purple Rain. And my stepdad walked in as the movie was starting. And was like, "You ain't gonna watch that jive turkey shuck and jive his gay ass all over my TV." And he took it out and he didn't let me watch it. And I was just like, I just want to see Apollonia's tits. That's the only reason I got it. And then I got to watch it later on, like 6 months later when he wasn't home. I got to see it. But yeah, so he has somehow twisted that story into I was dancing in Purple Rain, so I got to be gay. My stepdad says I'm gay a lot. It's odd. It's almost like he's the dad in American Beauty, that he had all the homosexual fantasies, so he's very conflicted within himself. I'm thinking, I don't know, he seems to be leaning that way. Like, why do you keep putting this, I'm a happily married guy. It's clear I'm not. Nobody's ever been around me and thought that. And not that there's anything wrong with it either. If you are gay, that's your prerogative. I got nothing against it. That's you. But I'm not. So, anyways, man, February 9th to the 11th, I'm in Atlanta at the Atlanta Comedy Theater. February 9th to February 11th, I'm in Atlanta at the Atlanta Comedy Theater. That is a city in Georgia, for those of you that don't know, for our listeners in London and Germany. All right, y'all. This is Gary Owen with another episode of the Get Some podcast. We'll see y'all next week.
What's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen. Get some.
That's like we took our kids this past Halloween. We took them to a white couple's house to go trick-or-treating, right? All the kids went out, trick-or-treating, came back with the candy. We told all the kids, we said, "Look, before you eat any candy, gotta eat dinner." White kid looked at his mom and he said, "Yeah, I want to eat dinner." She's like, "You gonna eat dinner?" He goes, "I ain't gonna eat dinner, Mom. Watch me." I was like, "Oh, shit. Somebody needs to go to Denny's for dinner tonight. Somebody needs a little Denny's for dinner." I don't know why my son thought he could follow suit. Here comes my son. He goes, "Yeah, I don't want to eat." He didn't get to the word eat. His mother came around the corner. "Remember who your mother is." "Yeah, I'm ready right now, matter of fact. Yeah, I'm starving." "Yeah, give me the whole meatloaf. Don't even cut it. Give me the whole loaf." "Yeah, I am starving. I need some meatloaf."
Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Gary Owen with the Get Some podcast. You can listen to this on iTunes. Just search Gary Owen, hashtag Get Some, or search United We Cast. Or you can watch it on my YouTube page, youtube.com/Gary Owen.com, and you might get to see some visuals, some pictures and videos. Last week, I went to my, in Ohio, just like every other state, they have high school state tournaments for basketball. So I went to my old high school, was playing a school called Moeller. And to give you an idea of the difference in athletic ability in these schools, Moeller is where Ken Griffey Jr. went. Barry Larkin, numerous NFL, pro baseball, numerous Division I college basketball players. My high school, Talawanda High School in Oxford, we've had one Division I football player in the last 15 years. One. And he's at Miami of Ohio right now. He's going into his senior year. His name is Maurice Thomas, and he's actually a really good ball player. So if you come this upcoming football season, if you watch Miami of Ohio, because sometimes they'll be on like ESPN 17, you can see Maurice play. I actually went to a Miami of Ohio game last year in November, and it was like one of them ESPN 3 games. It was on a Thursday, and it was so depressing because it was so empty. One, it was freezing. I get it. And the teams were both average. I think they were playing Akron. And it was just, nobody was in the stands. I go, it looked like a JV game. It's kind of, and there were some good ball players out there. It had nothing to do with the guys on the team. It was just, I guess when it's cold, you're in the Mid-American Conference, and when you realize you're not really playing for a bowl game anymore, people stop coming. Because I heard when Ben Roethlisberger was at Miami of Ohio, those stands were packed. Similar to basketball when Wally Serbiak and Ron Harper was at Miami of Ohio. Man, those games had some energy and was packed. But I got sidetracked. What I was getting at was I went to my old high school game. Final score, Moeller 71, Talawanda 20. And it could have been worse. Moeller jumped out to a small 26-0 lead. And I think halftime was 40-2. I think it was 40-2 at half. And you got to realize, though, Talawanda is my old high school, is a bunch of farmers and rural kids and all white. And Moeller's got this guy, Jackson Hayes. He's 6'11", going to Texas. They got this other guy named last name's Davenport. He's going to Wright State. They got a kid going to Indiana Wesleyan. They got another kid going somewhere for football. They're just stacked. And what's crazy about Moeller, their best, like, pure just basketball player is a kid named Miles McBride. He's a junior. He's coming back next year. He didn't play. He's the quarterback in football, and he broke his foot, and he already committed to West Virginia. He's going to West Virginia off a freshman and sophomore year of game tape, and I'm sure he played a lot of AAU ball, but he didn't even play this year. And Moeller is like annihilating teams because they could have easily scored 100. Moeller if they would have kept their starters in the whole game. But me and a buddy of mine from high school dressed up. Here's the funny thing. We had all these chants and sketches we were going to do after Talawanda scored. Well, they only scored once in the first half. We only got to do one of our sketches. So I think because we took a page out of like Nebraska and these other schools that when the guy scores, you see they call them the bench mob. They be having fun. We just made up our own. We did one. My favorite was The Walking Dead. We did the Walking Dead one. We did fishing where I was like a fish and he was reeling me in. The Walking Dead was I was a zombie and my buddy stabs me in the head and I go down like I was right when I was about to bite him. We did a classic. We did like yoga. We did squats. So we were working out. We did the kid and play, and then we had signs already made up that rated Moeller's dunks because we knew it was going to be a dunk fest. So we were getting like 5s and 2s, and then and we didn't show this on the tape, but the last one we did, we held up a sign that said "Not fair," and the funny part about the whole game was at one point Moeller had four black kids in and a white kid. And then Taiwan is, they're all white. So I almost got a chant going, said, "We need more black kids. We need more black kids." But you can't do that in this environment because it's racially sensitive. But I was like, dude, that's so funny to me. But if the chant would have gained life and like the crowd started doing it, there would have been somebody complaining. And the funny part is it probably would have been a white person would have complained. Because black people that know me, and even the chant, if you really look at its core, it's funny. Because look at the NBA. Look at college basketball. There's just more black players. Or I could have got a chant that could have said, "We should be playing hockey." To me, I love jokes like that. That's funny to me. But you can't do that, especially in the Southern Ohio, Cincinnati area, because that's the same area where I don't know if you guys heard about a month and a half ago, there was a school district called Kings School District. It's about 30 miles north of Cincinnati. And the coach there, and it was intramural league, but he had racially insensitive names on the back of his team's jerseys. And I'm not even gonna say what they are because they're that bad. And so he acted like, oh, he didn't know the kids made up the jerseys. It was, he'd been wearing the jerseys all year and now somebody complained. And the team got kicked out of the intramural league. But here's where it gets bad. The coach asked for a refund on the jerseys. He was like, yeah, I paid for these jerseys and now we can't play the rest of the year. And he asked for a refund for the league. Like he wanted his money back because I guess it was like $150 for your team to join the intramural league. He wanted his money back. And it just lets you know how clueless people are to be insensitive. But I always like to pride myself on, even in my stand-up, like I know how far to push the envelope without being offensive. And to me, a chant going, "We need more black kids," I just think that's funny. But if anybody would have been offended, it probably would have been somebody's dad whose son was on a team getting their ass kicked. Is probably who would have been offended by it. But like those jerseys that this intramural league in Cincinnati were there, those were offensive if you read them. But I thought we had some original sketches, and 71-20, woo! I tell you, recently, I have, since I've started my podcast, I start listening to other podcasts, and I really start listening to people getting interviewed and good interviewers. And I think my favorite by far is The Breakfast Club when they have comedians on. The Breakfast Club, when they have comedians on and they press them and comedians get honest with their opinions, I eat it up. I love it because they had Faison on last month. He went in on a lot of people, but people got on Faison. But I was like, he was giving his opinion on things, and that's why if you look at the Breakfast Club's YouTube page, Faison's got a lot of hits because when you're honest and you speak your honest opinion, and people say you're a hater. Yeah, I mean, there's some bitterness. I thought there was some bitterness that came out and what Faison was saying, but I didn't think he was a hater. I just think he gave his honest opinion on things. And there is a little bit of truth when he is talking about people, because what he said was, he goes, white people and Netflix, you know, they pick out certain black comedians that they said, we're gonna fuck with that dude. And they take off. And he said Chappelle was that guy. Chris Rock is one of those guys. And even Kevin, you know, Kevin's he's crossed over, but he's so huge right now. But somebody said something on my Twitter feed. They said Dave Chappelle, white famous, Chris Rock, white famous, Kevin Hart, white famous. And then they said Gary Owen. They was like black famous. And they said equals no Netflix deal, equals no stand-up specials that they're doing. And I was like, there is some validity to that because I'm black famous, and so far, as far as like white entertainment famous, I'm not. But this is the beauty of the day and age we live in, and this is what I always tell comics. You know, when I first got in the business, before I even ever told a joke, I saw an interview with Mario Van Peebles, and he had said when he started making money, when he first came into some money, he would buy cameras and film and backdrops and green screens. He would buy all this stuff because he was like, I would be able to make my own movies and make my own projects. And I'm sure a lot of them didn't sell. I'm sure he's got a lot of film that is only in his personal use. But when I saw that interview, I said, that's what I'm going to do. If I ever get enough money, I'm just going to do my own things if other people don't want to do them. And I've heard a lot of people say, you never put up your own money for projects, ever. And I was like, no, you can put up your own money. I would just be like, don't make it your last bit of money because you still got to live. Because Mel Gibson gave a great interview when they was talking about Passion of the Christ. And I don't know how much he put up, like 10 million, 100 million, something like. He put up an enormous amount of money out of his own pocket. And somebody said, that was a huge risk. He goes, let's put it in perspective. It wasn't my last 10 million. So he was like, if that movie didn't make a dime and never saw the light of day, I was going to be okay. He was like, but there's a huge difference between that and like James Cameron mortgaging all his credit cards and maxing everything out to do Terminator. That's when you're putting all your eggs in one basket. When I got my first Holden deal with Quincy Jones back in 2000, and he just wrote me a check it was six figures. I'm not gonna say how much, but it was low six figures. And my manager at the time said, Gary, this ain't normal. Normally you have a lot of negotiating, it's back and forth, and you get your money in increments. We'll give you 50,000 now. We'll give you 50,000 in 6 months, and then we'll give you another 100,000 if the project goes. And there's all these different stipulations. Now, I went over Quincy's house, and he literally wrote a check out. Like, this lady came down, gave him a checkbook, and he wrote a check out. And it was the biggest check I'd ever seen at that point in my life. And I took that check, and I did two things with it. One, I'm a little embarrassed. I bought a big screen TV because I always thought growing up, if you had a big screen TV, you have made it. And this is before flat screens. This was like 2000. I thought it was the biggest fucking TV you've ever seen in your life. And it was wide. It was a big screen, but you couldn't get it through our front door. It went so deep. Luckily we had a sliding glass door, and we had to slide the glass, and the guy had to roll it in, came off the back of the truck. You didn't just put it in the back of your car like your flat screens do. No, it got delivered, and it was heavy. It was just so massive. And it was literally like the next year flat screen started to come in. And now my big screen looked obsolete. It reminded me of when I bought a GMC Denali in 2004. And then 2005, they changed the body type. So like 3 months after I bought a brand new Denali, it looked like I had an old ass Denali. Because everybody started driving the new shit. And I go, they changed the frame? Like the front grille? That's the big part of the car. The front grille got changed. So I got this new Denali that looks old after 3 months. But I'm getting, sorry, I always get sidetracked on my stories. I think when you listen to my podcast, you get a story, but there's 3 stories within a story. So to get the end of a story, if that makes any sense. I'll start a story, tell 3 more stories, and I'll come back to the original story that I was going to tell. But what I was getting at in this day and age, when you hear like, when that guy sent me that link and said, Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, white famous. And I was like, I go, I think there's some validity in that where in white entertainment, if once they decide they're gonna, they're messing with you, the sky's the limit. But with that being said, in the age of YouTube and podcasts and everything else, there's so many other outlets for your voice to be heard. And that's why when I don't want to go back to Monique, but when she had the issue with Netflix, instead of me, I'm just going to keep it moving. Because I've said numerous times, Netflix, I don't have a Netflix deal. I've never had a stand-up special. And they can go to my track record. I sell tickets on the road. I mean, I just did the New Jersey Performing Arts Center in November and sold it out. 4,000 tickets in Dallas, New Year's Eve at the Verizon. Went to my hometown and sold out the Taft Theater in Cincinnati. And every time I do comedy clubs, we're adding shows because we sell out the original allotted amount. Usually I'll come in and I'll be contracted for 6 shows. It's rare I don't end up doing 8, 9, 10 shows in a weekend when it's all said and done. But that's why I love doing the podcast because, it gives you an out. It gives you a way for your voice to be heard that isn't stand-up. And the same with YouTube. You got guys, people are getting TV and movie deals off their social media, off their videos on YouTube. I read for a pilot 2 years ago, and it was a Netflix show, and I haven't seen it. It was brutal, the script I got. And I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. I didn't know what the goal was. I still went in an audition for it, didn't get it. But this girl had a huge following on YouTube, millions of followers. And when I went to her page to research before I read for the pilot, I still didn't get it. But I will say the production was unbelievable. And what she was doing was a character that she was sticking to. I just didn't understand it. But just because I didn't understand it doesn't mean the show wouldn't be any good because there's millions of people that do understand it. I just didn't get it. I wouldn't watch it, but other people are. So I can't knock the girl. I went and auditioned. I didn't get it, but I was just like, I don't get it. But she found an audience and she took that audience and Netflix gave her a TV show. I haven't seen it on Netflix. I think she just shot a pilot and it must have not went. That's why in today's day and age, there's really no excuses for you to be mad and bitter because you're not getting a deal at Showtime or Comedy Central or HBO or Netflix. Do your own. Do a Louis C.K. Louis C.K. did his own and put it up on his website. Do your own special and put it on YouTube. And honestly, as a comedian, you should be doing jokes 2-3 years later that you didn't get. One of the reasons I did Def Jam this year is I knew when I got asked to get up on stage, I was like, I did a Bill Maher joke and I did some jokes on Trump that a year from now aren't going to be current events, aren't going to be as topical. And I just kind of want to get it out there on film. And I just want to make sure when my time comes and I'm done doing stand-up or I'm old and I pass away, whatever, I want to make sure I have a library of jokes that people will go back to and be like, okay, that guy was funny. That guy was really funny. And that's why I think I enjoy the Breakfast Club interviews so much, getting back to Faison's, because, Jeff Ross went on there, gave a great interview. Sinbad went on there, did a great interview. And I find myself, I got ADD, ADHD. I think I got them both. I think I got ADD, ADHD. Well, there might be a B, a Z, and a Q in mine. I get so sidetracked. But for me to sit down and listen to an interview and not realize that I just listened to 35, 40 minutes of somebody talking. And that's why a lot of people get on Charlemagne on the Breakfast Club because, a lot of people say he's an asshole, but I just think he's brutally honest and he doesn't back down. I mean, Birdman came in, you gonna put respect on my name because Charlemagne got brutally honest. And I think when you got so many yes men around you and so many people in your ear telling you how great you are and this is right, Charlemagne calls it for what it is. And I like that, And I didn't know what to think of it when I first met him. And then when I met him, I go, oh, he's a cool dude. But just know he's not gonna BS you. A lot of people can't handle that. They can't handle, I just like hearing the comics on there talking about that stuff, about real comics and what they really feel about certain comics, Even Michael Blackson And when Kev got interviewed and he talked about Michael Blackson going at him when he had the Vegas thing happen. It's funny when comics get in their feelings when people talk about them. And I never do. I never get in my feelings. I just try to process what you say. I take it in when people criticize me. And then I really try to think about, was he right? Or was he being a hater? Or did I do something wrong? Or am I messed up? I mean, I'm not perfect. I don't know. I talked about Kevin last week in my podcast, how I didn't agree with the bagging on players going up for the All-Star game. If it got back to Kev and Kev listened to it, I would think we got a good enough relationship, strong enough. Like if he didn't agree with it, we probably end up laughing about it when it's all said and done. But that was just my opinion. Doesn't mean I don't think Kevin's funny. I've done shit that hell, I did a few things in my life I'm probably not proud of. I did a pilot years ago that was so bad, and I was like, woo! and I'm in the middle of shooting this pilot. Like, if this gets picked up, I don't know if I want to do this. I got fired. I'll tell you, two instances I got fired. I had a my first time I ever did a table read, I had a show. I was developing this show with a lady named Yvette Lee Bowser, who was the creator of Living Single. And this is like 2002, 2003. And I had never did a table read before. And what a table read is when you on a TV show or movie, usually they'll get the whole cast together. And right before you go shoot, we'll do a table read. And just so everybody gets to know each other and you can finally get your character out amongst the other characters. And you just read off the script. They do it for movies, TV shows, everything. Well, up to that point in my career, I had never did a table read. So I go in for a table read for my own TV show with Yvette that we're trying to sell. And I try to memorize the whole script. I don't know. Yeah, you just go in and read the script. So I'm studying for like a week. I'm reading this script and I come in a little cocky, like, all right, it's my show. Welcome. Holly Robinson Pete she was going to play my wife. Essence Atkins is going to play her friend. They had Robbie Perrone was going to be her best friend. It was a solid cast, right? So we go in a table read to read for I think deal was at Warner Brothers at the time. I think Warner Brothers, and we were going into UPN to do we were going to do a table read for UPN because they really wanted to see it. So CW now, but it's UPN back then. So we do the table read, and about 10 pages in, I started to forget my lines because it was, you got damn near 40 pages, and I'm like trying to not remember. I'm trying to deliver them like I'm overacting. It was brutal to the point where at one point I lost my place and I had to like stop the thing and look at my script and try to find where we was at. So this is why I know Hollywood is kind of full of shit too. We get done with a table read and I knew it was bad. I was bad. Everybody else was good. I knew I was bad. Everybody clapped. Everybody's like, good job, everybody. Great job. We'll call you this week when we get the actual time we're going to read for UPN. Great job. I'm looking around like, did you motherfuckers see me? I was terrible. I knew I was terrible. Long story short, they went into UPN. They did a table read. I wasn't there. I didn't play myself. They brought Jason Bateman in to read for me for my part. So if thank God the show didn't get picked up. If the show would have got picked up, it honestly could have been the Gary Owen show starring Jason Bateman. But in the room, they clapped like, great job, everybody. Unbelievable. I'll never forget a vet took me in her office and kicked her feet up like a disappointed mother. She was like, oh, what happened? She said, what happened? I go, I tried to memorize it. I didn't know you were allowed to read. Nobody told me. I had never done a table read before. I didn't know. I didn't know. And I remember I had to call my wife like I think I fucked up. I fucked up the whole show. And the show didn't go. And then right afterward, like literally a month later, Yvette she went in with that show to UPN and walked out with the show half and half. But a month later, she got half and half. And I remember her calling me basically saying, I'm not giving up on our show. They wanted me to do this other show. And she goes, I'm just going to see what they're thinking about. But there's no doubt she did that show because of that table read. Because I was so bad. Because I really think she believed in me. And I really think the show would have been funny and good with us together. I enjoyed the development process with her. And I fucked up. I fucked up the table read. There's no other two words about it. That show died at that table read. But I just didn't know. I didn't know. Nobody ever told me I didn't know what the hell table read was. I was like, yeah, we're going to table read at 3:00 on Monday. Well, okay. They said, oh, here's your script. Nobody told me you just come in and read. And let me tell you something. I ain't had a bad table read since. And people will tell you, when we did the table read for Think Like a Man, I was so ready. And I didn't have a lot of lines in the thing, but I made sure I hit those lines. And I did some ad-libs that I knew was within the structure of the movie. And when we left that table read, I remember Will Packer was meeting with Clint Culpepper, who was the head of Screen Gems at the time. And he was like, yo, we got to get Gary more lines. We got to make this part a little meatier for him because of the table read. So in that instance, the table read helped. But that show I had with a vet, wow. Jason Bateman as Gary Owen. And I remember thinking at the time, Jason Bateman, he ain't done nothing in a while. And look at Jason Bateman now. That's why you never know. You never know in this business. That's why I love this business too. I mean, I can get a phone call today that could change everything. You can't tell in this business, man. That's why I love it. Like Jamie Foxx told me years ago, he goes, it's the biggest temp job. It's the biggest temp job in the world is the entertainment business. But again, if you get a chance, obviously listen to my podcast and watch it. But do yourself a favor if you like stand-up. And if you're listening to my podcast, I assume you like stand-up. Look up The Breakfast Club. And whenever you see a stand-up get interviewed, Jeff Ross, Faison, D-Ray, Kevin, Marlon, Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, they're you know what they do? They're not trying to throw you under the bus. They're not trying to expose you, so to speak. They're just going to talk about the stuff that people want to hear about. And that's why I like it. I'm actually booked. I'm doing The Breakfast Club March 27th. I'm looking forward to it. It'll probably air on March 28th. But I know why I'm coming on. They want to talk about the Monique stuff, I'm sure. And but I was thinking, I was talking about Think Like a Man and the table read. And then it's funny because I'm doing this podcast early in the morning today. And when I woke up, I woke up to this show. I fell asleep with the TV on. And I was watching this thing called Whitney Houston, Can I Be Me? And it's on Showtime. And I woke up at like 6 a.m. and I just started watching. I ended up watching the whole thing. And I should have probably went back to bed for a little bit. But it was so good. And it reminded me of when Whitney Houston died was the day after we did the red carpet and the premiere for Think Like a Man, the first one. And it's always something I never forgot because I remember I woke up on should have been on cloud 9 and be like, dang, that was Think Like a Man. It was my first big red carpet where you had a feeling in your bones that this movie was going to be special and big. So I woke up, and then that was the news I woke up to the day after in our hotel room in LA, me and my wife laying there. And then I woke up like, no way. Whitney Houston died. And we were staying right down the street from that hotel. And when I tell you that the next day we drove by the Beverly Hilton where she passed away, there was already so many flowers and stuffed animals and everything. Like people just mobbed there's that corner of that hotel and where the street is. And there was just so many memorials to her. It was crazy how much that was. And that's what I remember about that Think Like a Man premiere. Two things I remember is Whitney Houston died the next day, and Diddy, Puff Daddy, I didn't see him. I woke by him, and he had said, "Good job, man." And I gave him the fan. Thanks, bro. I never even looked at him because I didn't pay. It was so crowded in the lobby of the theater. And then my wife goes, Diddy just said, "Good, congratulations and good job," and you kind of gave him the fan. Thanks, bro. Kept it moving. Good job. No shit. I had a slight blow off at Diddy. My apologies. I didn't even look. But yeah. And I want to give an update. I was listening to one of my past podcasts, and I was talking about my brother, the one that got busted with the drug possession charge. And February 6th, he was going to get sentenced. That got put off. I found out he was in a rehab. He went into rehab. So they pushed it to February 20th. So now March 13th is the big day. My brother's going to go to court. Either he's going to plea or he's going to say, I want to go to trial to see how much I'd imagine he's going to plea. I don't know, but I don't know. And then I found out this ties into a crazy stepdad story. I don't want to go a whole episode without it. But we found out that my stepdad had said to his lawyer, now I don't talk to my immediate family. I don't talk to my mom. I don't talk to my stepdad. I don't talk to my brother or my sister on that side. But I talk to other family members and they get back to me. And plus I know people in the small town we live in and they'll give me updates on the family, so to speak. But my stepdad told my brother's lawyer, he goes, yeah, he's got one other brother, not two. He's got two, me and my brother. And he said he's got one other brother who passed away of a heroin overdose and we never saw it coming. And I don't want the same to happen to this brother. Okay, here's the thing. He's got two brothers. He's got one that passed away and me. Secondly is my brother overdosed 4 times. What do you mean you never saw it coming? But that's his way to compartmentalize, I should say, things and put them in a way. And I'm sure he never thought that this lawyer could do his due diligence and find out, no, that other brother overdosed 4 times and he has 2 brothers and one is doing okay. But that's his way of lessening his role and everything. Like, oh, we never saw it coming, man. No, I mean, my brother's down there throwing up flares in the ocean. Like, I need help. I'm drowning. Somebody help me. And, I talk about my family a lot in my podcast, but I had a lady sent me a tweet and she said she listened to episode 20 and it hit everything on the nose. It's funny how social media, sometimes it can be used for bad, but then other times you get some stuff like this. Her name is Dr. April Horsley. And she sent me this. She said, Gary, she goes, the healthiest one in the family is attacked. They highlight the other's failures, inadequacies, and cause them to see reality and unhealthy dynamics that exist. That's why you are the bad one. So it made sense to me, like, oh, within my family, I'm attacked by my mom and stepdad and my brother and sister because I'm like, yo, this ain't right. This ain't cool. And I'm forcing them to look at themselves. And when you do that, you only can go 2 ways. You can either be like, whoa, let me get some help, or let's work on this together so we can be a family and as healthy as we can. Nobody's perfect, but as healthy as we can get. Or he's lying. And nah, he's the bad one. But I put my track record up as a human being against them any day of the week. And when I posted it on my Instagram, my Twitter, it's funny. And this is another reason where social media can be helpful is, I had quite a few people DM me and then also leave messages saying, wow, that's me, or that's what I go through. And it's sometimes good to know you're not alone, because I just think it's human nature to want to belong to something. When you hear people be like, I'm a loner, I don't need anybody. I'm like, bullshit. We all need somebody. We need somebody. Now, granted, I love my alone time. Don't get it twisted. I love my alone time. But you always want to feel a part of something. You always want to feel wanted and loved in some kind of form or fashion. Nobody's just an out-and-out loner. Nobody wants to be Denzel in Book of Eli, just running around. I mean, you like to be a badass like Denzel in that movie, but nobody just wants to be that dude. And, I hate when people say that stuff like, I don't need nobody else. They'll make posts on social media. If you know me, I don't need nobody. I'm like, I do. I need somebody. Jeez. you can only jack off for so long. You want somebody. I was just thinking, man, if there was ever like the Walking Dead type shit, I tell you what, my standards would be lowering daily. I'd be banging some wildebeest if it was the Walking Dead. Good, because I always said, I know my wife and kids wouldn't make it. No way. I know my wife and kids. Walking Dead happened, I'm alone in this world. I just have pictures. I'll be the one crying over their deaths. Now, my stepson, Emilio, my oldest son, he might make it. He'd have to cut his dreads, but he might make it to Walking Dead. But my daughter, Kennedy, and my wife, Kenya, good luck. Good luck. Because you know what they would do? I'd be telling them what to do, and they would be like, no. Are you sure? We shouldn't be doing that. Would you shut the fuck up? These zombies are coming. Do what I say, woman. What? You don't talk to me like that. I just did. We'd be in an argument. I think that's why you don't see a lot of black people in The Walking Dead. You see a few, but you don't see a ton. I think the husband and wife duo in The Walking Dead hasn't happened yet because they be arguing. Let's go. You ain't gonna talk to me like that. You ain't my boss. What? Now, all of a sudden they bit. And then the dude is like, I told this motherfucker, shut the fuck up. Get in the basement. You gotta hurry up. Don't be yelling at me. Don't be yelling at me. Bit. I think that's why you don't see a lot of black couples in The Walking Dead. Now you got Rick with Michonne. You got about the most untalked about interracial couple in TV right now is on The Walking Dead. Rick and Michonne. Because Rick is really a redneck in the show. And Michonne is a sister. Like, I think Michonne before the zombie breakout was dashiki wearing, incense burning type sister. Like, I could see her being like at an Erykah Badu concert, calling Tyrone and singing it. But then you got Rick, who's probably at a Conway Twitty concert at the Georgia State Fair with a dip in. He wasn't going to be with no black girls, but look how zombies, all that racial stuff goes aside. That's why I think I love The Walking Dead so much. Rest in peace, Carl. If you didn't watch the last episode, sorry. I just ruined it for you. My fault. But all that kind of tied into my crazy stepdad story. My brother gets sentenced March 13th. Update on my schedule. Again, March, I'm in Columbus, Ohio. And then I'm in Pittsburgh, Columbus, and West Nyack the last week of March. And then I don't know once I go into April. So just I always tell people, go to my website. I go to my website for my schedule. It's www.garyowen.com. That's my schedule. It's on there. So I got Pittsburgh in March. I got Columbus in March. And I got West Nyack in March. And then I got Mount Airy Casino, the Poconos, at the end of March. I think March 30th I'm there. So, and then me and the wife are taking a little getaway in March too for 5 days. We're going to go to Hawaii. We're going to Maui for 5 days. That's one of the islands we haven't been to. I always tell dudes too, man, do not take a girl you're unsure about to Hawaii because you'll say shit in Hawaii you don't mean. I mean, me and my wife, our sex life gets rejuvenated in Hawaii. It's something about that water, man, that salt water and that island. I be telling dudes, man, you'll take a girl over there and you'll be saying, I love you forever, get engaged. And as soon as you get back to LAX, you at the coffee being like, I didn't mean any of that. I didn't mean that. You didn't even get your drink yet. You're like, all right, man, that shit I said yesterday morning on the balcony, that wasn't me. I was shocked last year we went to Hawaii. We went to like a local breakfast spot. I can't remember what island we was on, but it was all locals. And then like a bunch of locals came in and was like, hey, Gary, and like knew me. I go, what the fuck? That's crazy. There was a time I was on a cruise and we took a cab ride like through the mountains of one of I don't know, we was on St. Thomas or something. Because I said, I want some local, authentic Caribbean food. And we get there, and we're like in the woods. We're like in the forest. And the lady comes out and goes, Gary Owen, comedian? I go, what the fuck? Do you have TV? I looked around like, how did she know anything? And this is like 2010 before I was in like Think Like a Man and Ride Along and stuff. I was like, what the hell? I was shocked, but you just never know. So anyways, I appreciate you guys listening. Go to GaryOwen.com for my schedule. And I'll see you guys next week. Gary Owen with the Get Some podcast.